Hey everyone, it's Margarita Yang, and today's video was actually a request from my friend Ling Shuang, and her question to me was, how do you pay your credit card bill? And I thought, well, isn't this a really vague question with a pretty obvious answer? Because shouldn't you just pay your credit card bill in full before it's due using sufficient funds from your checking account? Well, I guess she wanted to know more about whether I have a certain system of managing my credit cards, and the answer is I do. Before I go into the system though, I wanted to share that I used to be really anxious, especially when I first got my credit card 10 months ago, watching the bill come and seeing a really high balance. So what I used to do was every Friday, which is the day after I got my paycheck, I would pay off my credit card balance, so then by the time the bill comes, it's much lower than what it should be. And I don't think I'm the only one who feels anxious seeing a really high credit card bill. Like, it's not even that high, but I've got pretty anxious because my friend and we had dinner a few weeks ago, and she told me that she does the same thing. She gets really anxious seeing the credit card bill get really high by the time it comes, and she's always afraid of whether she has enough money to pay. Of course she does, but she feels anxious, so she pays every week, just like what I did. And I don't do that anymore. I just pay once a month, and I have a certain way of doing things, which is what I'm going to share with you today. Before I get started though, this is a good system for you if you already pay your credit card bill in full every month. Like, you're already very disciplined with your money, you know exactly where your money is going, and you track every single penny. You're just really aware of where your money is going. This is not a good system for you if you spend money like it's water and you don't know what is going where. If you do have a problem with spending money, then I highly suggest you follow Dave Ramsey's cash envelope system. So you just write the category and how much you're going to spend. So basically your spending limit, and you put the cash in this envelope. That way you can visually see a physical limit to the amount of money that you can spend, because with credit cards, you don't visually see that limit. You have to, in order to follow a credit card system, you're going to have to mentally visualize that limit, and it takes a lot of practice and discipline to be able to do that. So you might want to start with that first before you move on to something that's more advanced and suitable. And also, if you do have a spending problem, please do check out my book, 1001 Ways to Save Money, because that will definitely help you cut down on your amount of spending. If you're concerned that the price is a bit too high at $20, then I suggest you buy the Kindle version for $9.99. Okay, so let's get started with my system. First of all, you are going to need a checking account. And I say this because some people are underbanked and still do not have a checking account because they're scared of the banking industry. You are going to need a checking account. And I use an online bank called Charles Schwab, and they offer a high yield investor checking account that offers a 0.4% annual interest on the average daily balance on your account. So, even though you're just spending money like normal, you do get interest on it. And I like that because a lot of banks do not offer interest at all on checking accounts. And the second thing that you need is a savings account, preferably one with a really high interest rate. Honestly, a lot of them are not that high. Lots of banks nowadays offer an interest rate on savings account of 0.05%. It's nothing. It's almost nothing. So for my savings account, I use an online bank called Ally Bank, and their savings account offers a 2.2% annual interest rate on the average daily balance of your account. I know it's really not that high, and it's just high enough to barely keep up with inflation, but it's better than nothing. I've done my research comparing local banks in my area, especially small community banks and credit unions, and I've also done my research on online banks, and it's pretty much one of the highest interest rates out there. So you might want to check it out, but do check whatever is local in your area too. The third thing that you're going to need is a budget. You do not necessarily have to get really detailed and specific with what you're going to spend your money on and how much. Recurring expenses do work best, and I highly suggest you plan those out. So in my experience, public utilities such as gas, electricity, water, and trash, they do accept credit cards, but a lot of them, they will charge you a merchant processing fee, and the amount of the fee doesn't justify the amount of cash back or rewards that you're going to get. So I suggest you just charge those to your debit card and have it come straight out of your bank account. But for other recurring expenses that you do need to pay for, not just for enjoyment, but for day-to-day living, where companies do not charge you a merchant processing fee. So things like groceries, gas for your car, insurance, things like that, you can charge to your credit card, and you should plan those out because they're very predictable, especially the amounts. They're very predictable on a monthly or quarterly, annually basis. And of course, you're going to need a credit card, and you have to know this credit card's credit limit. I read on the internet that if you want to have good credit or build your credit, never charge more than 30% of a single card's credit limit onto that card. But I do work for a real estate firm as an accountant, and we have mortgage brokers coming in every single week giving presentations and talking about their various products. And they suggested that when they look at someone's application for a mortgage, they don't want you to see that you charge more than 10% of a card's credit limit onto that card. So you might want to keep that in mind when you're making your budget and planning out how much you're going to charge onto a card. For this video, I'm going to use a monthly net income of $4,000. That's not exactly how much we make, but I wanted to use this number because it's a nice round number. It's just perfect for my example. So this is the amount of money that we're going to get paid here after taxes are taken out. For our savings goals, let's say it's for an emergency fund, we're going to set aside 25% of our take-home pay, which is going to be $1,000. After that, we're going to spend $3,000 for the rest of the month. So $2,000 of it is going to be spent from the checking account directly, which will be used with a debit card. And $1,000 is going to be spent on the credit card. Let's say the credit limit is $10,000. Then if you spend $1,000 on the credit card, then that's a credit utilization ratio of 10%, which is just perfect. Over here in my hands, I have $4,000 in fake cash. And this is going to be a visual representation of our paycheck. This $4,000 is going to get deposited straight into the checking account. What do we do when we first get paid? We transfer the money over into our savings because we're supposed to pay ourselves first. So I'm going to transfer $1,000 of it into our savings account. Now, for the rest of the month, I'm going to spend out of my bank account and out of my credit card. $1,000 will get charged on a credit card, but I'm not going to leave $1,000 in my checking account to pay my credit card later. Instead, what I do is I put the $1,000 into my savings account too. And then at the end of the month, after I've tracked all my expenses, after everything, I transfer the $1,000 back out into my checking account, and then I pay my credit card balance. The reason I do this is because banks calculate how much money to pay in interest on your account based on the average daily balance. So instead of temporarily holding the money in my checking account, which was reserved for paying my credit card bill, which I've already budgeted for, I hold it in my savings account so that I can increase my average daily balance throughout the month and get more interest money instead of leaving it in my checking account, which has a lower interest rate. The thing that I want you to keep in mind about my system and my way of doing things though is that I do not necessarily pay attention to the bill's closing date and the bill's due date, which I see a lot of people on YouTube doing. I only pay attention to my budget date, so the last date of my budget. And we do a 4-week budget. So what I do is on the last day of the budget period, so on day 28 of our budget, I look at the credit card balance, I look at everything that's been charged to the card, compare it to my Excel sheet, make sure that nothing's been undercharged or overcharged, everything's reconciled, no fraudulent charges. Then it's okay to pay my credit card, and I just pay the balance in full, whatever the balance was on day 28 of my budget period. So that way, on the first of the next budget period, I start fresh with a zero balance, and then I just do this over again. I really hope that I was able to explain my credit card management system, or whatever you want to call it, in a way that was simple and easy to understand. If you got confused, and I really hope that you did not get confused, just leave me a comment asking me your question, and I'd be really glad to answer it in a timely manner. Again, this was a request from my friend, so if you do have requests for future videos, I'd be happy to take those into consideration. I already have a list of ideas that I want to make videos on, but I'm always looking for feedback, and for your ideas, I want to know what you want to learn and what you want to hear so that I can go more in that direction, because I am a new channel and I don't know what exactly you guys want to watch. If you found the information in my video really helpful, then please do like this video, share it with your friends, and comment below. Remember to subscribe. I don't just say this for the sake of it. I am a new channel, and I really love the support that I'm getting to share my passion with you guys and just share my message with the world. So this really means a lot to me when you guys engage with me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.